I am the most powerful Tantrik in the world. My mantras can kill anyone in just 3 minutes.
Oh yeah? Then kill me right here, right now. Why don't you show everyone your powers? Because this is on live TV. Millions of people have watched it.
That incident actually happened and it was broadcast live on India TV in 2008. Man, I wish I lived in those days when TV was actually exciting and didn't care about hurting religious sentiments or anything. Instead of what we have today, when the entire media just panders to the government and religious nationalists. Anyway, this video is the story of what happened. My name's Pranav and you're watching Scienceisdope.
I think someone is using Tantra against me. I recently lost my dear uncle and the other day hit my head hard on my car's door.
I'm sure it's nothing. Definitely not black magic.
I'm sure it's black magic because the next day, for no apparent reason at all, I had blisters all over my legs.
Uma Bharati's accusations of black magic, whether it was true or not, certainly became a news item. And in March 2008, the power of Tantra was put to the test against science live on air. India TV hosted a program where they invited a Tantrik, Surinder Sharma, and also the president of the Indian Rationalist Association, Sanal Edamarkar. Now, I've introduced Sanal in my last video as one of India's prominent rationalists at the time. You can watch it after watching this video, I'll link it at the end. But on the program, live on air, as soon as the Tantrik said that he could kill someone using the powers of Tantra alone, Sanal challenged him to kill him right there, right then. The Tantrik couldn't back out without embarrassing himself. He had no choice but to accept the challenge. His reputation was at stake. He began chanting the mantra.
Om Triambakam Sugandhi Pushti Vardham Dhila Smriti. Om Yakundendu Sharhar Dhablaya Shubrastavardaya Veenavardhanda Manditaraya Padmavasana. Absolutely
nothing happened to Sanal, who kept laughing at the Tantrik, trying so hard, and kept insisting that this was all a gimmick. When the Tantrik saw that what he was doing was not working, he tried other methods. He pulled out a knife and started intimidating Sanal with it, hoping that he would back off from the dare. But no, Sanal just stood there and kept laughing. I'm sure anyone on the Tantric side right now, maybe right now watching this video in the comment section would say, hey, look at these atheists, all they do is ridicule and laugh at traditions. But the reason behind Sanal's laughter was to reassure everyone at home that he was safe and there was nothing to fear. When he saw that he might be cornered with no way to escape, the Tantrik even tried to murder Sanal the conventional way by pressing hard on his temples, on his forehead. At this point, the host intervened and Sanal was like,
Hey, what is this foul play? You said you can kill me using the powers of Tantra alone, right? Why do you even need to touch me?
At that point, the Tantrik realized that he might be caught, which is when he thought of an idea. He said,
You must be under the protection of some powerful god. That's why you can't be harmed.
I managed something in the nick of time. Let's see him try to get out of that or even try to prove me wrong.
I am an atheist. I don't believe in any god, let alone pray to them.
Oh, what do I do now? If I don't manage something, all my customers will be gone. I'll be homeless, out on the streets. Okay, Rick, I think I have an idea.
I have a spell that works 100% of the time, but it can only be done at night. I'm sure your TV program can't run that late, right?
Here, managed to escape again.
Wait, let me check with my boss.
Said the host, who then got on a call. The Tantrik was enjoying his sweet relief when suddenly the host came back with a
Yeah, we can do it. It would be a special segment during the news hour.
Stunned silence was all the Tantrik could manage because unknown to him, the program was one of the best they've ever had, racking up millions of views in just under an hour. The studio was more than happy to run the program late into the night, and so they did. in a special segment past 11 pm on the same night with the help of two more mantra chanters, presumably to amplify the power of his mantras. The Tantrik chants with even more vigor this time. Om Linga Linga Linga. Okay, cut to the clip.
Om Ling Ling Sarusana Vacham Mukham Om.
He tries all sorts of stuff this time, and by that I mean the same shit at night with two more mantra chanters. Sanal brings an associate to make sure that the Tantrik doesn't engage in any sort of foul play. The Tantrik tries chanting his mantras for an hour, but the night ends in failure for him. Because nothing happens to Sanal. You can see at the end he just threatens Sanal and says something will happen to him before walking away. Maybe that was his last ditch attempt at making another vague, untestable claim. But the damage was already done. Because the night had a huge impact on people who believed in black magic. I wish I could say that superstition died that night, but unfortunately, it takes a much longer fight for it to die out of society completely. However, it definitely was dealt a heavy blow. One thing's for sure, reason definitely won that night. But Sanal Edamarkar walking away with absolutely nothing happening to him. And he's still alive and well today. And also, he taught us a thing or two about rationality. The first thing we should probably acknowledge and maybe learn something from is Sanal's bravery in putting his life on the line to challenge the Tantrik. I know in hindsight and maybe in today's day and age, we might not think this is much of a big deal. But back then, actually calling the Tantrik's bluff with something like, okay then, kill me on live TV, was definitely a truly daunting task. I know personally I began questioning the idea of God back when I had no internet and no one around me to tell me that my thoughts were valid. Everyone around me, my friends, family, relatives, were all believers. And I felt this massive resistance to even think in this manner. I kept thinking, oh, what if I'm wrong? What if I get punished for my blasphemous thoughts? So I kinda know how daunting it is what Sanal did, although I guess I never had to put my life on the line. Another thing I'd like to point out is what the Tantrik was doing. Every time he was about to be exposed or his tricks proven fake, he would try and evade it by adding a new criterion. He is under the protection of some god, or I have a spell but it'll only work at night. This is called shifting the goalpost. It's a way of evading falsification when your idea is being put to the test. You'll come across this often in arguments, and the next time you do, you'll spot it more easily. Did you know, by the way, the movie PK featuring Aamir Khan was inspired by this whole incident? Yeah, the climax of the movie where the protagonist has a debate live on TV with a god man about God and religion and all that. It's also very thought-provoking. The movie may have questionable acting, directing and maybe even casting choices, but that whole section of the movie at the end was well done in my opinion. Lastly, I'm someone who doesn't take sponsors in his videos unless the product is really aligned with my own channel goals. I can't be the guy calling people out and then selling you something on the side, right? So I rely on your support for keeping this channel running and for my own living expenses. Because we all know that YouTube ad revenue is shit. You can support me through one of these options you see on your screen, which I'll also link below. YouTube thanks, buy me coffee, UPI, they're all helpful. But I highly recommend Patreon or YouTube memberships so that I have a regular monthly revenue and I don't have to worry about how video performs when I bring you this stuff as often as I can. I'd like to thank my highest tier members on Patreon and YouTube. You can also have your name displayed like this if you support me. For staying till the end of the video, here's my reward for you. The entire incident on India TV is available on a YouTube playlist. And if you like that video, check out this one, which is another story on Sanal Edamarkar, where he fought against blasphemy laws and that forced him to leave the country. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, remember, science is dope.